unknown, one beyond my wildest dreams. Maybe that road could have carried me to streets of gold. Things aren't always as they seem. Looking back on all the chances that I missed, some I held, some slipped away. One street over where my memories exist, I wondered what would change, I really couldn't say. In this life there's nothing certain, except the curtain that rises to the stage. Silly games of second guessing, I just forget the lessons that I couldn't learn. Because one street over there's a life I could have known that would have kept me from the one I had today. Except the curtain that rises to the stage. Silly games of second guessing, I just forget the lessons that I couldn't learn. Because one street over there's a life I could have known that would have kept me from the one I had today.
Good morning, Robertson County. What you doing? This is 1100 WSG. I'm Eugene Laverne, and this is One Street Over. And oh my goodness, we are just knocking on the door to Thanksgiving. And if you haven't heard, Robertson County schools are closed until after Thanksgiving. We had so many kids out. I had so many, especially in my homeroom. I had kids missing throughout the day. It was kind of the same. I don't know, but so many that the rumor last week was that we were going to get off the entire week for it, and then Dr. Causey put out and says, no, we're going to go. But then there were so many absences on Monday. They called it during the day and said, okay, we're gonna call it a day because we got so many people out sick. So much so that my husband and I went over to Greenbrier Pharmacy and got our flu shots. We both, they bring that microphone down to you, Mayor. Mayor Billy Vogle is in the house, and but he and I both were eligible to get them because we both work for schools, and we both were just busy when they came through, and so I was supposed to go by Greenbrier Pharmacy. And had not made time to do that. But my little grandbaby boy, he has had it something awful. And so my daughter-in-law says, have you gotten your flu shot yet? And I thought, and she's a nurse. She keeps us in line medically, you know. And I was like, you're right. And so I got Mark and I said, meet me at the pharmacy right now. Before we had our People's Choice Awards for our kiddos last night. It was so fun. But we went and got our flu shot. So we're all protected. How are you?
Greenbrier came and done our flu shots at the office building.
Oh, they did?
Yeah.
Well, they came to the school.
Mm-hmm.
I was in the middle of something, and I don't know what I had going on, but I was supposed to be there and had to be somewhere. You know, I've got so many things
I got
going
my
on.
flu shot, and you know, I'm going to have to throw Jordan Osborne on the bus. About 3 weeks ago, she had the flu. She told me she thought she was going to die.
Oh, bless.
And I said, well, did you go get a flu shot? She said, no, I just hadn't done it yet. And I said, well, see?
Yeah.
So, and I was with her the day before she checked out. Mm-hmm. And I had a flu shot, and look at here, I'm knock on wood.
I used to not get them, and I think last year I actually missed. I tend to get them every year now. I got put in the hospital one time with the flu.
Well.
When my kids were just, probably, they weren't quite teenagers yet. It was like the 10, 11, that age. And so my kids were still relatively young, and I was so sick they put me in the hospital, and I started getting flu shots after that. And so I know everybody's like vaccine, whatever, you do you, but I'm proud that we have modern medicine and some of the things that can protect us, and I'm going to keep getting the flu shots, and I'll probably get a COVID booster when they tell me. I've had 3, I think. I forget how many COVID shots I've had.
Well,
but
the first time I got the flu, I was in high school. And people say, well, I think I'm getting the flu. No, let me tell you something. There ain't no thinking to it.
No, flu.
When you get it, you got it.
Yeah.
And it's bad. I thought I was going to die. And that was back, I'm going to tell my age, when Dr. Elder was doing home visits.
Oh,
and
wow.
And he came to the house twice while I was in the bed down there.
Yeah.
And let me tell you, if it hadn't been for him, I don't know if I'd have lived. I was that sick.
Well, and my grandbaby boy's been sick this past 4 or 5 days. And, I mean, he was still like fever 104 yesterday. I mean,
I remember as a kid, they changed the bed on me like 2 or 3 times a day.
Yeah, sick.
I lost so much
nasty
weight.
stuff, man. I'm telling you.
Yeah, if you ever get it, I'm gonna tell you that little shot ain't gonna bother you.
No.
Yeah.
But yeah, get your flu shot, y'all. And you know, I was talking to my daughter-in-law last night. We were texting. You know, we never talk. You know, we text everybody, and we're like, "Oh, I was talking to him." No, you were texting. But her cousin is a nurse practitioner, and she said that because John Hagan, when he owned Springfield Drugs, and they haven't, you know, they've sold that a while ago, but they're good friends, and so I'd always get my flu shot with him, and he recommended, and this has been, you know, 10, 15 years ago, he would say get the shot later in the year, so that way it's good throughout the winter. And what Erica's cousin was saying, and what Erica was telling me, and again, Erica's a nurse and her cousin's a nurse practitioner, she says, no, it's hitting earlier now. And so while that was the advised, you know, what they would tell you years ago, it's not anymore because they're telling you to get them like in September. So, and it may be that you need a second round. I don't know. I'm not a doctor, but my daughter-in-law's a nurse, so yeah, I got medical people in the family now that I can talk to. So,
well, I'm still kind of hard-headed. I haven't got my shingle shot. I don't do that.
I haven't either.
I don't do the shingle shot, but everybody tells me, Billy, you need
I'm
to do
going to
that.
get it. Honestly,
Yeah.
the only reason I haven't is, if I had thought about it yesterday, I'd have probably got it while I was at Greenbrier Pharmacy because I just forget.
One of the greatest discoveries to me of all time was penicillin.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, what would we do without penicillin?
I don't know. People just, I am so thankful for modern medicine and what we're able to do through vaccines and all those things. And, you know, I had a dear friend, when people start, you know, barking at me about vaccines, and that's fine. Again, you do you, I'll do me. But I don't know if any of you guys remember Traffic Jim from KDF.
Yeah.
Okay, he was a polio survivor and was in a wheelchair. So talk to him, you know, people like that about vaccines, because a vaccine could have prevented him from being, you know, handicapped his adulthood. And, you know, he's passed many, many years ago, but he was a dear friend of mine. And just that really struck me as to what it could do. And so, I don't know. I just, get your flu shot, y'all. Flu is nasty this year and coming up on Thanksgiving. I don't know. I got mine yesterday. My mother's said, well, you know, it takes 2 weeks for it to kick in. And I don't know, but I've got mine now. So,
yeah,
I've got mine. So there you go.
Mentally, you feel better.
Yes, absolutely. It's a thing. I'm like, I've got my shot. I'm ready to go. Let's go. So, you know, anyway, so how are you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. I have to admit that I remember the first year of being mayor, it was like drinking out of a fire hose. But this year here has been the same way.
Yeah.
So much stuff is happening in Robinson County and dealing with you got a lot of employees, and it's just something all the time.
Yeah.
You know, when I was so happy to get to go visit you today at your class.
Yes, I was going to bring that up.
That got me out of the courthouse some and away from the desk, and get to walk in a school and just feel the energy of all those kids. I think y'all was fixing going to the 4th block.
Yeah.
Yeah, and all the kids was in the halls and doing and it just brought back a lot of memories. Mm-hmm. And of course, I'm gonna tell you, Greenbrier's changed so much.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the kids are so smart.
Yeah.
Yeah, they really are.
They're great.
Yeah.
I'm having so much fun. I'm finally coming now. My 4th block. If you talk to any of my 4th block kids from yesterday, they got a real lecture from me because I've got this interesting mix. I've got freshmen to seniors, and I've got a handful of kids.
Class?
Yes, and I've got a handful of kids in there. They're just like, oh, this looks like fun, and trying to keep them on task and stuff. And I'll have the older kids. They'll get done, or even some of the younger kids that really enjoy this, and they're on task. They're getting it done, and then I've got this wild bunch over here that I'm having to sit on and put out fires with them, and then these guys are getting bored, and I'm just like, trying to figure out the balance and stuff. And so they got a big old long lecture from me about responsibility and being respectful and all of that. But they're great kids. They are awesome, but they're kids. They're kids.
They all got different DNA.
Yes,
got different personalities. You know, if you just with them for an hour.
Yeah.
You got some that's over here at this level, and you got some that you need to catch up.
Yeah.
And you've got an hour to try to balance. And,
it's a trip, man.
Yeah,
I'm still trying to find my balance, and I'm constant. I told the students, that's my biggest thing about being a teacher. I do not want to waste their time, and it's really hard your first year not to feel like you're wasting their time a little bit because you're trying to figure it out. And so, you know, I appreciate so much their patience with me. And I told them, I said, I'm going to really, really, really try to kind of restructure some stuff coming out of Thanksgiving, because we got a few weeks before Christmas, before this semester's over, and I'm kind of figuring it out now. And it's so funny. One of my students, Hayden, bless him, yesterday I said, tell me how this would work, and he said, why don't you do this, this, and this? And I was like, I like how you laid that out there, buddy.
Yeah.
And so it just kind of, I don't know, when I love getting feedback from them. My friend Matt Driscoll's teaching now, and we honored our kiddos. We had the People's Choice Awards last night, and we pick a student that we just think is out, you know, just got it going on. And for me, it was an audio video student that's just gifted in audio video, and he just right out of the gate, he just started producing really creative stuff, and he's just, you know, just got that thing. But for Matt, it was a young girl who encouraged him when he was like, man, what am I doing? What am I doing being a teacher? You know, because you have those moments when you're doing something new that's outside the box for you, and it's like, oh, what am I thinking? And she encouraged him. And so that was the one he honored for People's Choice. It was just a cool thing to hear all the different teachers and all the different, and it wasn't just teachers, as counselors, the principals, the principal, they all had their student that they said, this student, I want you to take a look at this student, because they've got it going on. And it is just a cool ceremony that they do. It's called the People's Choice Awards, and I guess they do it, and this is my first time out of the gates, and I guess they do it once a year. Miss Grimes is behind it. Miss Grimes, oh my goodness, every school needs a Miss Grimes. She is amazing. She is the Renaissance person, and that's a program that just, they do everything. And I'm just blown away, because I mean, I see her in the hall, and she's pushing a cart, and she's running, and she's moving, and she's busy, and she's got others there. I know there's a lot of others that help her with it, but Miss Grimes is just all over the place. And but she runs that program, and it's just cool. It's just cool. But anyway, that's what we were doing last night. So we loved having you at Greenbrier, and I may have you back. We may have, be ready, because there's a possibility as we finish up this documentary, I'll say, hey, Billy, we need to come out and reshoot that just a little bit better angle or something. So that could happen.
What I was doing there was talking about the drug problem in Robinson County, and trying to talk to kids about the peer pressure they're going to get.
Yeah.
If somebody's doing some things they shouldn't be, and they're going to say, come on, join us, because you think you're going to be in the in crowd, that's the first step toward the wrong way. First step, yeah.
Well, and the one thing that, and I can't say enough about something you said at the recovery court graduation that just struck me. And I've heard you say it before, and I wanted you to say it for us to get it on tape. That's really the main thing that I wanted for the documentary from you, is what you said about you were talking about how that as a mayor, it was drinking from a fire hose, and there was so much you didn't know you were going to face.
Even though I'd been a county commissioner all them years.
Right, it's different.
I'm started putting my name on paper that are like the autopsies.
That was the thing. And you said what you said about autopsies. Go ahead and say it again.
I mean, they called me to the finance office, and we got stuff you signed. And I sit down, and I started saying, what am I signing here? And it got down to a document. And I said, what am I signing right here now? Let me look at it. They said, that's the autopsy report.
Wow.
And I'm going, you felt kind of morbid, you know? And I'm like, wow, I'm signing off on these people. Okay. And I got to looking through it, and I'm going to say 75, 80% of them was drug overdoses in Robinson County.
Fine.
And we budget $180,000 a year for autopsies. It is unreal.
It's just
that's a penny on the tax rate.
Yep.
Right there. And as we grow as a county, that number's probably going to go up.
Especially if we don't get a hold of this drug thing.
Yeah, and it starts at vaping. It starts, whatever, and people get with that crowd, and before you know it, you're out on the corner. You're not doing your homework, and it just starts spiraling down, just like you water running through a sink.
You never know what's going to get a hold of people too, and that's one of the hardest things. When I've had Ron Baptiste in here, and he's one of the first people I've ever heard, and one of really the only people I've ever heard that calls drug addiction a medical issue.
Yeah.
He goes, it's medical. He said, you never know who's going to get addicted and how it's going to. I mean, there's some people that take the painkillers and they're just addicted.
Yeah.
I can't stand them. I don't take them. They make me sick. I can't even understand how somebody lets that. Or they don't let it. It just gets a hold of their physiology in a way, and I don't understand it. And I still, to this day, there's this image of this guy that I ran into in the Gordon Food Service parking lot. Because I was working at the church before I went full time with school, and bless him, he just had that look of somebody that was just disheveled. He almost looked like he came out of the executive office and was just riddled with addiction and was now on the street. You could just see it. You know how you just kind of see that echo of a person? And I looked at him, and I've never seen him again. Yeah. But he's not been on my mind so much. But it's just it's amazing how it will get hold of you. There is a thing that we were going to do today at Greenbrier that we've had to postpone. I've got to talk to Thea Sickle. She's helping us with it from Recovery Court, and it's going to be when you know how they do the remembrance ceremony.
Light a candle, and they've got the people's faces on the.
We're
screen.
doing that at Greenbrier, but we're doing it with images of people that people at Greenbrier know, and so I've got one teacher that's had 2 siblings die of addiction. Another teacher, Matt Driscoll talks about his sister who died of addiction. So her images are in there. I've got another teacher who had a brother, another teacher that had an uncle. I was asking my students one day, I said, does anybody know anyone that they want to put an image out of, for us to put in the remembrance? And one of my students raised his hand. He goes, my mom.
Yeah, seeing these pictures they put up are during the good times.
Yeah.
The picture's not when they're on the bad times.
No.
Our county jail, I dare say probably 80% of what's going on there is because of drugs and and starting down that path. Losing your job, just...
I guess the thing is, the point of all this, guys, is this is the reason we were talking. We got off.
Here it is, Thanksgiving. We need to be so thankful.
Yes, we do. And the reason we're talking about this is because the mayor came in and let my students interview him about this because of some of the things he had said. We're putting together a documentary. Pray for us because, oh my goodness, trying to get this wild circus of kiddos together and focus on this. I may have bit off more than I can chew with the documentary, but we'll get it together. We'll get it together. We'll get it together. So Mayor Billy Vogle is in the house. I always say, it takes us 15, 20 minutes just to say hi, and it does. And so, hello, good morning. I'm Charlene. I want to say something real quick. Charlene Sullivan's on here from my father's house on comments. She is going to be our guest a week from tomorrow at 7:30. Now, at 7 o'clock, Alex Maddox, who is one of my students, is going to be here from 7 to 7:30. So I'm very excited. He's going to come in. I've offered my students, I said, why don't y'all come in and get on the air with me? And Alex is finally, he's going to come in. And so I'm going to have one of my students in here next Wednesday, 7 to 7:30. And then Charlene's coming on at 7:30. But got Carrie Roberts supposed to be here Monday. Who else have we got? Well, Tommy Marsh is coming in tomorrow. Crooked Eye Tommy. At least I think he is. I talked to him last week, and he's going to try to work it out. So I think we got Tommy coming in tomorrow. So good stuff. Get ready for Thanksgiving. All right, Mayor Billy Vogle in the house. What happened at the meeting?
First let me say that we just come off Veterans Day.
Right.
And I had the honor of going to White House to the Sunday right before Veterans Day to Grace Park Church up there. And very neat church. Nice complex, the grounds. But I had to do a proclamation for a 91-year-old gentleman that served in the Korean War. He was a 3-year prisoner of war in the Korean War. And they said at that church meeting that he's the last prisoner of war living in the United States in the Korean War.
Okay.
So that was, I mean, it wasn't dry in the house. You know, he talked about living off bread and water for 3 years, beatings, tortured. Said at night it'd be so cold that they would sleep on top of each other and take turns who would be on top. And then he told me and told my wife, he said, if I had to do it all over again, I'd do it again.
Wow.
Yeah. And then, of course, Veterans Day, we made our rounds I went first thing in East Robinson. Almost the reason I'm bringing up East Robinson, they do a great program for the veterans. But there was a 99-year-old World War II veteran there. They got to walk down the halls. He did walk down the halls and fist bump them kids as they was waving their flags.
Oh, wow.
You know, it was so neat. And to see the looks on them veterans as they go down the hall, and them little kids. We're teaching our kids in the schools about veterans, what they did for us so we can have our rights and our freedoms and be who we are as the United States of America.
Amen.
The United States of America.
Wow, I would have loved to have been there for those events. That
Gosh, it's something
that sounds
see.
breathtaking.
Yeah.
So very good. Okay. Well, what else? All
right, I'll get
into the meeting.
Yeah, let's get into the meeting. In my communications, of course, I wanted to say that the parade Springfield had theirs last Saturday night. Oh, was it cold? It was cold, but there was a good crowd out there. Yeah. There was a great crowd, and they had a real nice parade.
Oh, it's always wonderful.
The band was right behind me, and they done a fantastic job walking down through there doing Christmas carols.
Oh, fun.
And a lot of people was on. At December 2nd, Friday night at Ridgetop, their parade's 7 o'clock. Okay, on December 3rd, Cross Plains' Christmas parade is at 10 o'clock. White House's is the same day at 3 o'clock. Now, Adams is the same day, December 3rd at 3 o'clock, and then Greenbrier comes around at 6 o'clock. So they'll be knocking out 1, 2, 3, 4 parades that day. Yeah, and let me tell you, White House has got a big parade. Greenbrier does too. And Cross Plains, that bunch up there, has got so many antique cars in that neighborhood, in that community, and they all bring their cars out and decorate them. And, of course, Mayor Faulkner will be on the fire engine, and he's got an antique fire engine.
Oh, cool.
I'm talking about an antique fire engine.
Is that the one Kerry Roberts gets on some kind of fire truck and does?
It might be.
That may be the same one.
But it's and they have it in that parade, yeah.
Okay, that'll be fun.
All my friends up there do a great job. But then we had something really cool last night, communications. We got a new EMS director, Brent Dyer. And he has done something that I have not seen done in my 30 years in county government. We had a young man have a heart attack at a supermarket in White House. When the police got there, his heart was not beating. No. Well, they started, chest compressions and all that, and got a little bit faint. Well, by the time the ambulances got there, they started electric shock, putting all the monitors on him, and somewhere on the way to the hospital, that heart come back beating.
Wow.
He recognized the White House fire chief, his staff, and the 2 guys in the ambulance last night, saving this young man's life and handed out certificates that they give to when you save a life. Right. You're bringing someone practically dead back to life.
Right.
And I've never seen that happen at a county commission meeting. And the MS director, Brent, said this is what helps morale. This shows you we're doing our job.
That's right.
And I've never seen that before. They got a standing ovation. It was a real cool moment.
That is neat.
Yeah.
That is neat. I've heard of different things where, I mean, these folks that, I tell everybody, have your first responder prayer list, because every one of us knows first responders. Yep. And they need to be on your prayer list, because they are just doing the work they're doing is breathtaking. And it's something that's always struck me, because I spent so many years listening to dispatch as a traffic reporter and hearing these calls that these guys have to go out on, that in my mind I'm visualizing what they're saying about it. They're seeing it. Yeah. And what they have to see, just put them on a prayer list and just be thankful for them, because, man, they are getting it done for us every day.
That's where it starts. Cool. It starts at dispatch.
Yeah, you bet.
That dispatcher getting that call and putting it out and describing what's happening.
You better believe
We'll ask you, we talked to your class about this. Mm-hmm. When you call 911, try to have your head clear and tell them the facts. Tell them where you're at and what's going on.
Yeah.
So they're prepared for it. At the end of it, I did tell the people that was there, if you don't have your post office box numbers on your mailbox
Yeah.
or on your house, you're losing minutes when ambulance is trying
You
to come.
better believe it.
Especially if you live off the road. That ambulance is driving back and forth that road. They know they got to go to 211, whatever, Locust or Maple or wherever it is. But if you don't have 211 on that mailbox, when we're growing so much, we're putting houses in between houses now, and you're losing minutes there that are very valuable.
You better believe
So take
it.
time to go get you some numbers and put them on your mailbox.
Yeah, make it where you can see it. I have all the stuff that I've done with the church, especially where we'll go pick up something, take something, and trying to find addresses. It just drives me out of my mind trying to find people's addresses and they don't have things marked. When we're doing Meals on Wheels, trying to find addresses, and it's like, well, is that the house or is this the house? Oh, there's the number on the door. You know, and you're out in the street trying to figure out where you're going. I can't imagine what the folks that are our first responders deal with.
Yeah, I'm going to jump down a rabbit hole because a lot of these deputies, they deliver 2,000 warrants a month for the court system.
Oh, my.
When you see them out there. And a lot of these people don't want to be found.
Sure.
So there you go. How would you like to deliver warrants for somebody that don't want to be found?
That's a dangerous thing. People don't realize how dangerous that is when you're taking a warrant out to somebody like that.
Yeah.
All right, let's pause and we haven't done a commercial yet, Billy, and it's like almost 7:30. All right, we're going to talk. Let's talk about Corbin Creek Greenhouse Gifts and Gardening Center. What are they doing right now? Well, it's cold, and you talk to Miss Amy. She does not like the cold weather. She's a summer girl, and she likes it when things are growing. But they still have a lot of stuff going on at Corbin. Now, one thing they're doing, her and Stephanie, they're out decorating. They're doing a whole lot of decoration right now, and I don't know if you can get on their list of having help with your Christmas decorations, but you can call them and you can try. They pack up that list pretty quickly, but the number is 615-384-3185. The one thing is just always follow them on social media because they've got all kinds of stuff going on. Lisa Arnold does a great job keeping it up to date, putting up beautiful images and things like that. Right now, if you go to the Facebook page, they've got a beautiful plant that they've put together that's got all the fall colors. It would be just absolutely beautiful to take and bring to your home, to bring some, if you need some plants, if you need some things just to kind of brighten things up. They've got some gift items and all those types of things that are inside the store. Of course, they've got their CBD products that I cannot say enough about. They are absolutely going to help you with, at least they do me with my inflammation issues. Cannot say enough about it. Now, they do have some adjusted hours because of Thanksgiving. So they are going to be closed Thanksgiving Day, of course, to spend the day with their family. They're going to be back in the greenhouse on the 25th. So the only day they're going to be closed this week is Thanksgiving Day. But you can go and see them otherwise Monday through Saturday from 10 to 4, and then Sunday they'll be there from 1 to 4. So just all kinds of things going on, from house plants to beautiful things to brighten up your home for fall and then getting on to Christmas, CBD products, handmade craft items. You go and talk to them. They've got a lot of stuff going on. And when you get by there, it's at 4920 Highway 161 in Springfield. Be sure and always tell Amy that you turned attention. Thanks them for being one of our longtime sponsors here at 1 Street Over. Mayor Billy Vogle in the house, talking about all things. And what else did you do at the meeting? Did you have a long meeting? Or
No, it was done by, I'm going to say about 45 minutes.
Well, I know that Dr. Causey was at the People's Choice Awards, and then he said he was coming by the commissioners' meeting.
He comes every Monday. You'd be surprised, department heads that come to the meeting and just watch it.
Kind of hang out?
Even though they may not have nothing on agenda. Because if we have a question about a resolution or something like that, I will make them a member of the court to help explain it.
Sure.
If there's questions, and then the zoning part, you'll have families there that's getting something rezoned or somebody that may be against what you're doing.
Right.
So we make that a part of the court too. We got into our elections and appointments last night, and I'm going to give a couple shout outs to SMR, Municipal Solid Waste Regional Board. That stands for Stewart County, Montgomery County, Robeson County. They meet at Bi-County Landfill down there toward Stewart County. Buddy Bryant is our representative on that board. He's been on that board, and we reelected him for another 4-year term. And that board is very important. I told folks last night, Rutherford County is shutting down their landfill just for their own personal use. They don't have many years left on the footprint. In other words, they're kicking Nashville out. We're all concerned that join Nashville, where's this trash feed can go? And of course, we are a transfer station. We do not operate a landfill. We have a landfill that is closed, that's been monitored by the state to be sure it's not leaking into creeks and stuff like that.
Right.
But other than that, we transfer trash. You drop it and we haul it. And I'm concerned that where this Nashville trash is going to go. If it comes to our transfer station, they will be charged if they're out of county, and it's a higher rate than county people, but still, you don't know. You just don't know sometimes where this. Once it gets in that big dumpster, you don't know where it comes from.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're concerned about that. Of course, trash is a business we're trying to run without on the taxpayer's dollar. And we're hauling ours to Nortonville, Kentucky.
Well, that was my question, because I think a lot of us don't think about where ours is going to.
Ours is going to Nortonville, Kentucky, where those strip mines used to be.
Right.
They're filling in those strip mines, and of course,
Right.
the law says whatever you dump in there during the day, you got to have dirt on top of it that night.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's got to be covered up. In fact, at our transfer station, there cannot be any trash left on that floor overnight. It has to be
wow.
cleaned every night.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's serious. It's a lot of work involved, and this board that Buddy Bryant's on down there at Byer County, I'm just going to tell it like it is. They've got a great landfill down there, but there's some counties that around there that are worried about this Nashville trash coming in there, and they're worried about Robson County bringing Nashville trash down there. You don't want to fill up your landfill, and then where you going to go?
Yeah.
I mean, nobody wants a landfill. So Buddy and them's on this board. They have voted that we could bring trash down there, but right now the Nortonville's working out pretty good for the guy that hauls our trash. Mm-hmm. And he's it also, this board makes sure that counties, the state requires you do so much percent of recycling, and we had to turn in numbers to this board that goes to the state to show that we are. Some of the factories around Springfield and stuff are recycling, and that we're doing an effort to make recycling work.
Okay.
Even though there's not any money in it right now.
Oh no,
Yeah.
it's one of those things.
It's
It's
something
so
that's got
hard.
to be fixed.
Yeah, it's so hard to pursue recycling because of it's just not cost effective, but it's just what are we going to do with our trash? I mean,
We are
it's just,
so
yeah.
wasteful.
Oh, we are.
So
It's
wasteful.
insane. I just we don't even know. I don't think we want to go down that rabbit
I
hole.
don't either. I don't. I'll go out there and I'll see the stuff that comes in that transfer station, and it's like, they got a weed eater, looks like brand new, but he won't start. Throw it in the trash.
Isn't that unbelievable?
Yeah, it's unreal.
It's
And I
unreal.
sit there shaking my head. I'm like, golly.
Yeah.
There's some good stuff you see going in there, but it's just the way it is.
Yeah, that's incredible. That's incredible. Never been tempted to grab anything and think, I got to take
Hey,
that
one
home.
man's trash, another man's gold,
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
my goodness. My goodness. Talking with Mayor Billy Vogle. I tell you what, let me go ahead. We got a little bit behind on doing our sponsors. So let's just go ahead and pop over and we'll do a real quick ad, and then we'll come back and we'll finish up. We've got another half hour. What am I talking about? But let me go ahead, since I've kind of paused, let's go ahead and talk about Barry and Rebecca Richards with the Exit Realty Garden Gate team, my friends in real estate. It's just so weird how quickly it changes. This time last year, great interest rate. I mean, just a running and a gunning, and the real estate here is still running and gunning, but the interest rate's twice what it was. So that's going to affect how much house you can buy. It's going to affect some people being able to qualify to buy. So it's just a different world. So how do you navigate those waters? How do you talk to? How do you decide? Okay, is now a good time for me to buy? Is now a good time for me to sell? If you need answers to those questions, you want somebody that really understands it. Rebecca's been at this a long time, one of the first in the area to be a senior real estate specialist. Then she brought her husband along, Barry, who was a vice president of a media marketing company for 17 years. And what he brings to the table is that expertise in making sure people see your property once you've decided to put it up for sale. I like to compare it to those dating apps where you flip through pictures and people go, no. Well, people do the same thing with your property. They go flipping through it, and if it doesn't jump off the page, then they're going to just keep going, and they're not going to take a second look. You want them to take a second look. So you want somebody like Barry, who is a Zillow certified photographer, licensed and insured drone pilot, does the 360-degree virtual reality home tours. We'll get you up on realtor.com. He knows how to package your property to catch the eye. So people will see it and they'll go, oh, I need to take another look at that, and maybe do a walkthrough tour. That's the expertise he brings to the table. They're a great team, great friends up in Cross Plains. They've been there for over 20 years. They specialize in Robertson County properties, but they also buy and sell in the surrounding counties and across the state line. line in Kentucky. You can connect with them at sellwithbecky.com, sellwithbecky.com, or buyrobertsoncounty.com, buyrobertsoncounty.com. Better yet, just give them a call, 615-504-7425, 615-504-7425. And be sure and let them know that we appreciate them sponsoring One Street Over. Tell them sent you. Mayor Billy Vogle, where we going next, my friend?
Tickle thing that people talk about this. Cry me a river. I remember 17.5% interest when you borrowed money.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, to me, it's a bargain. I mean, it is a bargain.
I love my mortgage rate, though, that's in the threes.
Yeah, and granted, stuff are higher, the price is higher, so your interest, even though it's a lot, but still, back in then, 17.5% in the 70s, that was pretty tough.
Yeah.
First house I bought was 16.5.
Oh,
yeah, the
really?
pickup truck I bought was 17.5 and 79. Yeah.
Wow.
And when we built our house, it was 6.5, and I thought we were stealing the money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing. It is a trip. I mean, it is just hang out, man. Things they change. Just
It
sit
could
tight.
be worse.
Sit tight, y'all.
Yeah.
Sit tight. It's good.
Yeah.
It's good.
Going back to nominations and elections, we had an opening on the airport board, which Gina Holt was appointed I think about a year ago. Well, she's going to now be a full-time 4-year member of that board. And there's great things going on at the airport right
I got to
now.
get her back out here. I'm just talking to her.
I'm going to tell you, she is a very smart person.
She's very smart.
Yeah,
yes.
she worked in Washington, D.C. She sounded like she's a lobbyist or something. I don't know. I didn't really drill her head that hard, but
she was an assistant to I forget the congressman, but she was like
during the Reagan administration.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, and gosh, that sounded like a long time ago, Gina. But anyway, she's on the airport. They're in the process now of naming a new airport manager. And if you go out there, there's planes coming in and out all day long.
That's cool.
Yeah, there's a lot going on at the airport, and there's a lot of maintenance to the airport too. You just need to go out there. They'd be glad to show you around because we're proud of our airport.
And I say Gina I'm not 100%. She worked with a congressman or one of the senators. I think it was a congressman, and I forget exactly who. But, you need to talk to her. She's fascinating. She's had an interesting career. You bet she has. Yeah. So, but go ahead, my friend.
After that, we go into zoning, of course, and we've got 1, 2, 3, 4. Had 5 things come up last night. Majority of them was, all of them were Ag 2 to RP 80. And that's what that is. That's where you're taking land out of agriculture and you're putting it in rural development. 80 is 80,000 square foot lots. 8,000 square foot lots, excuse me. And it's that's more than an acre. And people are building houses. In fact, there's one on Buzzard Creek, Elliott Road, which is 7th voting district over around Stroudsville. Had one on Camel Road, the 1st voting district, and then 31W, the 2nd voting district, and then Turnsville is in the 11th voting district. The guy was rezoning almost 4 acres to put a house on. And here's one rezoning 11 acres. So it's a lot of people moving some land out and building houses. The one that was 11 acres, he's planning on building a house for his son and saving another lot for his other son. So, yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah, and let me tell you something, folks. When this goes to the county commission, all we're doing here is saying they can pursue it.
Right.
You don't want to do all the tracking, surveying, and all that work and spend that money and then not been zoning yet.
Right.
First thing you do is you get that land rezoned. And then you submit a plot or the plat that shows you what you're going to do, where the water's going to go, what kind of traffic studies on that road, and then that goes back to zoning again. And we have a county engineer that will look over that, and if he says, no, this lot will not work because of water runoff, or you're going to run it off on a neighbor, he will turn it down. But that's got to be done before you spend all this money.
Right.
And then you got to go to us first and get this done. Now, these folks have the green light to pursue what they want to do, but they still got to cross the T's and dot the I's.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Zoning, a lot of people don't like it. They think we're too hard on them, but it's also there to protect you. If you've got a neighbor that's maybe hurting your property values, you can talk to the health zoning and health board, and they'll go out there and try to straighten it out. Then there's certain things that you can't build in certain places because it won't fit, like an industrial out in agriculture. That won't fit. I mean, that's not the look that Robertson County wants. We want to keep our land rural, but we want to have the right kind of growth.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And without zoning, that don't happen.
Right.
That just don't happen.
Right. Very good.
Yeah, so I want everybody to understand that when you get into zoning, you think they're giving you a hard time. Hey, they're not giving you a hard time. They're taking care of our county.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So, just do cross your T's and dot your I's.
Yes, and
get
think
it
about
done.
it. I remember when I was a kid in Nashville, there was a dairy farm right down the end of the road, and now it's not there. It's all covered up in houses.
Oh, of course.
Now they're rezoning Davidson County by the foot.
Oh, I know.
Not
it's
by the
insane.
acre, by the
yeah,
foot.
It's crazy. I'm never leaving across the hall.
Yeah.
But, and then that's one thing, too. One of my sons, of my 4 boys, you would think that one of them would want to come and build on our place, but only one of them really has much interest. And but I don't know when that'll happen. And the real easy spot that I think to be to zone that's in our woods right beside the house, no, they want to go up on top of the hill.
Right.
I'm like, you don't have access. There's all kinds of problems. And so they'll have to, not only will they have to do the zoning issues, they're going to have to buy access from somebody that lives at the top of the hill. And I don't know. I don't know how they would do it, really.
Here's the thing. A lot of people will put the house where the best place is for the sewer system, for the septic tank.
Yeah.
And then they'll try to put the septic tank where somewhere it won't work.
Right.
That's the first thing. Where are you going to put your septic tank?
Exactly.
It's got to be in ground that's adaptable.
Yeah.
Because you don't want to build a house and 2 years later your system fail.
Right. Well, we've got a couple of the woodlands right next to our house. You need to go down. Have you ever been to my place? Yeah, because that woodlands there next to the house where we reforested. There's a couple of nice little building sites in there, but they want something up on top of the hill.
And then you got to have a driveway all the way back there.
Yeah, but you'd almost have to go around to Hood's Branch and come in. I mean, seriously, there's not any. You cannot, from my side of the creek, and we've got half of our land is on the other side of the creek, because it's picturesque and it's pretty, but really hard to build on. I can't imagine it. You'd have to build a bridge across, and that way that floods down there. There's no way. We've put up 2 bridges that have gone down. So it's just, no.
Well,
but we'll see. Good luck, honey. You need to just work on that. I don't know what they'll do, but we're years from now before they'll want to do it. But we'll see. Mayor Billy Vogle is in the house, and we're talking about all things Robertson County as they finished up with the commissioners' meeting. They have the commissioners' meeting on the 3rd Monday of the month. Now that and it'll be the same next month, but then in January and February.
It'll be December 19th next month.
Right.
Yeah.
But then January and February, you move it because of holidays. Correct?
Right.
And do you do
move
the
it to the 4th Monday.
You move it to the 4th. So it's always after. So because you have the Martin Luther King Jr. holiday and President's Day.
President's Day.
And
of course, we move it to the 4th because from this meeting we had last night until the next meeting, all these committees these reports I tell you about, these committees meet.
Right.
And there's stuff that's coming before them for the next meeting.
Okay.
And that gives these resolutions. Our county attorney writes all these resolutions up and words them before we get back to the meeting on the 3rd Monday night.
Okay.
There's a lot going on.
Right.
You
need to. That's why you push it to the one after. So
Yeah.
it will adjust at the first of the year, but the rest of the time, the other 10 months out of the year, it is the 3rd Monday if you want to. Can people come? Y'all live stream it. Now, what are the protocols for somebody that wants to come and watch the meeting? Now, you can still come in. Just come. Right.
Walk through the door.
Right.
Take your hat off. I got mine on right now, but take your hat off. And, turn your phones off. We got deputies there when you walk through the metal detectors. And, the public's invited.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Very good. And
we want to be very transparent.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Yeah. But we get together then the next morning, and we always talk about it. So anything else you got there for us?
We haven't even got into resolutions yet. Our budget committees, finance committees, when they met, we got resolutions. First one last night come out of the Drug Control Court. It was a grant from the state of Tennessee for $27,000. And it's to do the halfway house help, consultants, evaluation and testing, and just supplies to help do drug court and all that.
Well,
There's
and a lot of
grant.
that's drug testing is just a constant thing when you're in a
It's a
recovery program, constant. And I think that's probably something to do with that. I know did they get another one earlier in the year that had to do with a lot of the testing expense?
Testing, it's constant testing.
yeah.
And I'm talking about county employees.
Right.
If we have a deputy, highway department, maybe have an accident on the road, first thing we're going to do is going to drug test them. Yes. And, somebody said about drug testing your employees. Our workman's comp is 15% cheaper every year because we do drug testing.
Yep.
Yeah. And that saves the taxpayers money.
You bet.
And they can drug test the mayor. You know what I mean?
Yep.
That's just part of it.
Yep.
That's part of it. So
absolutely.
That's part of any good job, good life. Yeah. That was $27,000. Of course, that was a balanced budget. Did not affect the general fund at all because it was a grant. The second resolution we did last night was a $300,000 resolution. This affected the ARCA money that came in. Of course, majority of that first money went toward our 911 radio system. Mm-hmm. But we've got 2 ambulances that's got almost 300,000 miles on them. We are waiting on an ambulance that should have been here 6 months ago, and it's not showed up yet. And our ambulances are very expensive to have work done on them, and we do not, you got to depend on these things. Well, I saw that we've been waiting on this ambulance for 6 months, and we had another that's got like 260,000 miles on it. And I told the EMS committee, I said, we need to order another ambulance. Because I was told if we ordered one today, it could be 2 years before we get it.
Oh, wow.
2 years.
Yeah.
The ambulance that we ordered the other, 8 months ago was $190,000.
Oh.
They have gone up to $225,000 now. So what we did was we put $300,000 of ARC money to go ahead and buy another ambulance and possibly buy a bed for another one because they're constantly, the chassis you sometimes stay the same, but the beds get wore out or, and then you're buying equipment for them. But we put back $300,000 on that ARC.
How many
ARC
ambulances do we have in the county? Do you have?
Well, we've got 7 stations.
Okay.
And then there's one at every station, but there's 3 parked at Springfield. Probably 2 of them's operating. One's around back. If we can go in the shop. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
We need more. I mean, that's when you got a county the size of ours.
White House is down 65 is growing so much that we've constantly got an ambulance sitting out in Vanderbilt.
Yeah.
And that means you got to move one back into that station for those people. And that's where they're constantly moving ambulances around. And during COVID, we had so many people sick that we had some ambulances that wasn't manned. We're, I think, 5 people short now.
Wow.
Looking to hire. The sheriff told me the other day he's 28 people short.
Yeah, I was talking with Jessica on Monday about how many jobs they had open. It's amazing. If you're looking for a gig, guys, there's lots of work.
They're there.
And it's amazing work to do.
But we went ahead and ordered an ambulance that I hope it won't be 2 years away. But if you don't plan ahead and all of a sudden you're no ambulances and you're waiting that long, and this ambulance is coming out of Canada.
Oh, my.
Go figure that. I mean, go figure.
It's crazy.
But that passed last night, and good thing is, I told you earlier that EMS gave out certificates for saving that man's life.
Right.
And then here we turn around and vote to buy an ambulance.
Yeah.
So he went through 24-0. Yeah.
That's just it.
Yeah.
It was kind of a theme last night, it sounds like.
We had another grant that come in from the State Department, $75,000 grant. And this was to minister insulin. People that are in this Robeson County, I'm not familiar with diabetes like I should be. I've had some relatives that took insulin. I don't know how expensive it is.
Yeah.
But it could be very expensive, I guess.
Well, I'll tell you, we had a friend that was family from Ukraine, okay, and they came right after the war started, and they ended up going back to Ukraine because they could not work out her dad's medical needs with his diabetes because they were not here as refugees. They were actually here because they had just been here and they came in on a travel visa just as the war started. So they had no benefits of the what the refugee status gave them. So they ended up going back to Kyiv simply because they could not afford to keep him medically well because of the cost of insulin and
that's
things
right.
like that. Isn't that stark? They had to return to
Yeah.
a war-torn country because we couldn't figure that out here. And I mean, that's just happened, y'all.
Well,
just happened.
There was a
weeks ago.
$75,000 grant that went in for insulin. Also, the state, our health department out here, we furnish a lot of the help in there, and we do the maintenance on the building, and I guess we own the building, but the state they gave us the money to put a permanent awning to be attached to the health department in case we ever had to go back to testing again, that these cars can pull on this awning instead of us having to put up tents and stuff.
Oh, okay. That's a great idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, if it hadn't been for the college out there, man, you talking. We moved out there to just get off of Highway 41.
Right.
And that traffic was always wrapped around that thing with
Yeah.
2 lines, and it was just a godsend, what it was. But the health department, when you done it there, you had to load those tests up,
Yeah.
carry them, and get them to. But here, if you test it, health department.
That's a great idea.
Yeah, it's a good idea.
Yep.
All right, of course, we talked about the court system earlier, and it's always something to do with the court system. When you're paying your fines, you'll pay a fee to help process these services. Everything goes on record, and here's $11,500 that General Sessions Court needed for data processing in both their courts, whether it's juvenile or adult, and that was $11,500 we had to put in there for processing services. New computers is something all the time, gang. It takes a lot. Hey, the criminal system is very expensive, very expensive, and it's nothing to laugh at. But I got to chuckle because it just blows my mind.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think sometimes if the taxpayers knew what's going on, I don't know how we'd feel. Just it's just a round involving door.
Well, that's why it's so important to do the work to rehabilitate. The work some of the best work you can do, guys, is helping people at their bottom to see that life's worth living and to live better.
Yeah,
and to get these strongholds out of their life. And that's why go to Celebrate Recovery, get involved in Covenant Confirmers, what they've got going on at South Haven. There's all these great programs going on across the county to help people at their worst become their best again, and get them out of the court system and get them out of the it's just so much. There's so much we can all do, but we just got to get in there and get our hands dirty.
Don't really fuss about what we spend on schools, because if you don't spend on schools, you're going to spend on jail.
I think it was very interesting when you told the students how much is spent on them every year, and they're like, "What?"
I asked them, I said, "Do y'all know what school budget is?" And one kid hollered out, "Not enough."
Yeah,
he sure did. Not
Isn't
enough.
that funny?
But it's $133 million a year,
And
Ross County school budget.
And their chins dropped.
Yeah, I mean, you can't comprehend that number, and it's a little over $6,000 now a year to educate per student. Yeah, that's a lot of money, isn't it?
That's a lot of money.
Yeah, and think about over 12 years. What it is over 12 years, and people fuss about the property tax and stuff and their taxes. And I think about, I got 3 kids that went through the school system, so that's 36 years.
Yeah.
At $6,000 a year. Wow, I ain't paid them back yet.
Yeah.
I really haven't.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot. But talking to Mayor Billy Vogle, how much more you got there?
I haven't got a lot more.
Go ahead and wrap it up, and then I'll finish with my commercial.
We've got an older population of employees. Here's another one's leaving. We're paying them out for their time served, and we vote on that, folks.
If they're coming up and saying, "Hey, I've got this much sick time, and I've got because you hear that the people will say, "Well, I'm retiring in a year, but I've got enough sick leave and all of this that I haven't used that I can leave 6 months early." Sometimes.
Yeah. Sometimes I hope it's not that much.
Yeah, but that's a lot.
We have to pay them out half of it, and trust me, it goes to the county commission before that money's turned loose. And I think this person here, bless her heart, had a stroke and is finishing out the year, and we got to pay her out to the end of the year because that's how much sick time she had, which she's definitely sick.
Right.
And we can't hire anybody to take this person's place because this money's being used for her. That was budgeted. It's not like she left and we're moving another one in, a new employee.
Right.
No, it don't work that way.
Wow.
We're sticking to the budget. It's just the way it is.
Yeah.
Okay. Got a resolution for declare surplus property. This comes from I think this one's from the Sheriff's Department. It is from the Sheriff's Department. Most of it is computers and stuff like that. There was old monitors. I mean, they're all the time got something that's just, it's part of it comes to our tech department, which Chad does a great job. I'm moving pretty fast here. All right, the highway department, their board of commissioners got a $25 a month pay raise. Of course, that come in front of the county commission to be voted on. But the thing about this resolution, the highway department's board does not come out of the county's general fund. It comes strictly out of the highway department's money. And of course, the highway funds is based on the gas tax that we receive from the state.
Mm-hmm.
The highway department does not get 1 penny of property tax, not 1 penny. They strictly the gas money they got. And when you don't buy gas, their check is not as big, and that's what we pave our roads with. That's what we pay our roads with.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's I don't know what we're gonna do when we get the electric cars.
And
it is being discussed.
I know, but
it's being discussed on the state level at mayor's meetings I go to. We're thinking, and I said, what about to get electric airplanes? Because our airport runs on the gas tax that people pay, on their airplanes and stuff, the fuel.
And that's expensive. Ooh, that's very expensive.
But the governor is putting in charging spots at rest areas now, getting ready for the electric cars. Of course, there'll probably be a fee. I'm sure that if you have an electric car, they're going to put a fee on you for not paying the gas tax. So we'll just have to see how that shakes out.
Interesting. Because somehow or another, if you're going to use the roads, you've got to have pay.
You got to pay.
Right.
I still think, I don't know why we don't have a bypass around some of Nashville stuff and pay for it with the toll road.
Amen.
Let the ones that use it pay it. And I'm going to tell you, I would gladly pay $5 to drive around Nashville.
You bet.
Drive around it, not through it.
Mark and I both have never understood, because we're not from this area, but we've traveled the country, and he's from up north, and I spent some time down in Dallas. And I just don't. Well, we went through Chicago for years. I mean, we still, that's the way we go. And there's a toll road that goes around Chicago. Praise the Lord. I'd hate to have to go through Chicago every time we go see his family. So we gotta keep it up. Go ahead and keep moving, and then I gotta do an ad.
Okay, we got a resolution here declaring surplus property for the schools. And let me tell you, it's several pages of scanners, computers. They're wore out. Some of them is for kids that's been to school now we haven't started a computer program 12 years, but some of these are kids, when they do leave school, they carry their own computer with them that they've had the last 4 or 5 years.
Right.
We give it to them as a graduation present, and most time they're, just the way it is. You know how technology is. We don't know how long they'll be good, but it is a gift. But technology changes every day.
Well, it gives them something to start college with, and to where they've at least got a computer. I think it's a great idea, and they've had their hands on it that entire time. I just think it's a wonderful program.
Well, we know if you give it to them and tell them they can have it, they'll take better care of it.
You bet. Through their years, absolutely.
Growing up in school, we see books flying out the bus windows every day. I've never seen a computer fly out.
Ain't that the truth? Because it's theirs. Well, I tell you what. Let me talk about this on the way out, because you've got Cumberland Connect, right? Aren't you a Cumberland Connect customer? And I'm just so excited that they're one of our sponsors here at One Street Over. We're working on trying to get them in. We finished with Veterans Motorplex for the season, because they're done. They had to reschedule all their races, so don't go to the races until in March. So we've got a spot that we need a couple more advertisers. Cumberland Connect's been our Tuesday, Thursday sponsor. We're trying to get them on 5 days a week, because I love talking about them, because I'm so excited about it. And I cannot wait to have high-speed internet. I'm doing a lot of photography now. I'm getting ready to do mini sessions over Thanksgiving weekend, and I'm going to need to put a lot of pictures out to people, to customers that come by. I want to be able to get them their photos quickly. To be able to do that, I need good internet. So that means I'll have to leave my house and come up here to the radio station, use the internet here, or while I'm at the church, because I can't do that at school. Number one, there's no time, and number two, you cannot do that type of stuff at school. It's all protected, and there's firewalls and all of that. So I can't borrow their internet even after school if I were to stay. So I don't have access even. When I was at church, I could take during my lunch hour, and I could upload stuff if I needed to using their internet. I don't have access now. except, just minutes during the day. And so, believe you me, I cannot wait for Cumberland Connect. The wires are hanging on the pole.
They're hanging on the poles, yeah.
So I can't wait to have them come on in. I think you were the one that were telling me they make the appointment, they get it, or maybe it was Dr. Causey. They get it to the pole, and then they get it to your house, and they make another appointment to set it up in your house. How long have you had Cumberland Connect?
Oh gosh, year and a half.
Yeah,
Let me tell you, I love it. I woke up at 1 o'clock last
wonderful.
night, put it on Netflix, and watched James Bond.
Oh wow. So it's fabulous. I can't wait. I can't wait. And if you have questions, if you're somebody like me that's had to suffer through bad internet and you've got questions, very cool, CumberlandConnect.org, www.cumberlandconnect.org/workshops. Go and register and see about some of the workshops that are going on that can help you understand all the nuances of what's going on, when they're coming to your area, how you can use it to have, to live better in your home, all the different things from boosting your phone signal to working with your phones and to having internet, to being able to, I'm going to be cutting AT&T off. I'm going to be cutting off Dish Network. I'm going to be cutting off anything except
That's right.
Cumberland Connect. I'm just absolutely thrilled. I cannot wait to get them in there. 1,000 megabits per second. That's a gig for $80. No data caps. State-of-the-art gig-capable router that's included with the internet service at no extra charge. 24/7, 365 days a year. You're going to get technical support that's local. Last time I tried to get help with AT&T, I was in all other countries talking to people who were super nice but didn't know what they were talking about.
Cheaper than a gallon of gas.
Oh man, I'm telling you. Yeah, ain't that the truth? Cumberland Connect, come into a neighborhood that is near you. I guarantee you, if you are a Cumberland Electric customer, you're going to have access. You just got to check and find out when. Put your zip code in at cumberlandconnect.org and find out. And again, register for some of the workshops at cumberlandconnect.org/workshops. Thank you for being a part of the show today, Mayor Billy Vogle. Appreciate you, my friend. God bless you.
Spend your money in Robinson County Friday.
Hey, and absolutely have a wonderful Thanksgiving. So, are you going to fry turkeys?
No, I'm going to put them on the grill this year.
Okay, you're going to put them on the grill this year. Okay, very good. And we're going to just, cook. And tomorrow, we're going to have Crooked Eye Tommy in here. I believe, I haven't confirmed with him, but we're going to have some music and have some fun for the day before Thanksgiving. Thank you for joining us. This is 1100.